Okay, 1 minute and counting, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. We will be beginning shortly. I first have to inform everybody that this will be a recorded event. And so we have to make that disclaimer statement prior to beginning. I am waiting for an indication on the screen, and then we will be getting started. They are being recorded. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kara Bryant. I am the Social Action Chair for the Nassau Alumnae chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Welcome to our program, Representation Matters, a virtual school board candidates forum. I would now like to present our chapter president, Ms. Jackie Morrison-Brailsford, to bring you greetings.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bryant. Hello, I am the proud president of Nassau Alumnae chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And it is such an honor and pleasure to bring you greetings on behalf of the 192 members of our chapter. For those of you who may not know, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is a public service organization with a focus on the Black community that was founded on the campus of Howard University by 22 courageous collegiates. With that said, Nassau Alumnae Chapter takes great pride in being able to continue the vision and mission of our beloved founders by hosting a public forum such as this. Thank you to all the candidates for joining today and participating and affording the community an opportunity to hear how you will plan to make an impact in the lives of our children and students. Good luck to you all, and thank you for the continued support of our viewers.
Thank you very much, Madam President. As stated, we are an organization based on Christian principles, so I now would like to ask Ms. Kirandi Branch, member of the Social Action Committee, to open us with prayer.
Good evening. Let us pray. Dear God, the maker of heaven and earth, we thank you for your continued grace and mercy in our lives. As we continue to navigate this new normal, we ask for your blessings upon us. We ask that you continue to keep our minds and hearts on you as we work to provide vital information to our community. On this evening, be with the participants who are giving themselves as candidates for their school board, and to the members of Nassau Alumnae Chapter. Allow this discourse to be positive and uplifting. We will continue to give your name the praise. We ask all of these things in the precious name of Jesus, whom we call Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Kirandi. Initially, I was scheduled to moderate this portion, but due to some technical difficulties, I will now turn it over to Ms. Sharice Vanderhall to moderate the evening. So, Vanderhall.
Good evening, everyone, again. We've previously met with the candidates and gone over all of our rules for the evening. I'll just repeat for those who are in attendance and those who are watching from the live stream. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to introduce him or herself to our attendees. There will be a question and answer period after each candidate has introduced themselves. Questions will come directly from the live stream and from the chat group. We have a production team that is taking questions, and they are sending those to me live as well. So I will reiterate those questions to each candidate. They will have 30 seconds to answer. Once 30 seconds has elapsed, one of our sorors, Lakeisha Fulton, will let us know that the time has passed and will allow you to finish that last sentence or thought. However, if you go too far over, we will have to mute you in order to move on to the next candidate. We will close at 7 p.m. and then each candidate will have 15 seconds to make any final remarks. I'm going to begin with the Elmont School District. Ms. Tiffany Capers is here with us. Mr. Anthony Mathia, is that correct? Mafia, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Ms. Capers, are you here as well?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
So I'm just going to ask all the other candidates to remain on mute and ask the Elmont candidates to unmute. We have 2 that are present. Beginning with Ms. Capers, would you please introduce yourself? You have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. My name is Tiffany Capers. I'm currently running for the school board trustee position for the Elmont School District. I've lived in Elmont for over 20 years with my husband and my daughter Morgan. I've held many positions in the community, Girl Scouts, PTA, Civic Association, and I'm excited about serving on the school board. I see it as a way to continue to support Elmont students and the Elmont community beyond what I've already done.
Thank you. Mr. Mafia, you now have 2 minutes to please introduce yourself.
Thank you. And first, I'd like to thank Deltas for hosting tonight's event. My name is Anthony Mafia. I've been an Elmont resident for the 21 years come August. I live here with my wife and my 2 sons. Since moving into Elmont in '99, I've served the community through various organizations, both Covert Avenue and Sewanaka, PTA and PTSA, respectively. I was vice president of the Elmont Little League from 2006 to 2010. I'm an original and current member of the Elmont Dads Club since 2006, where we work with our kids to get involved in the community. We organize an annual Thanksgiving food drive, a cleanup day in celebration of Earth Day, annual trips with the Jazz Masters and District Chorus to the St. Albans Veterans Hospital, Borzak Center for Rehabilitation, and the Platt Deutsch. I've been a member of the St. Vincent de Paul's Feast Committee, den leader with PAX 294 in Elmont and 372 in Franklin Square. It's a 5-year Scout Master of Troop 294, which was one of the proudest moments of my life, producing 11 Eagle Scouts and 1 United States Marine. Currently the treasurer or former treasurer of the Sewanaka Indians Booster Club. For the past 12 years, I have faithfully served all of the students in the Elmont district and the Elmont community. We responsibly oversee the annual spending budget, working within the confines of the quote-unquote 2% tax cap, which we all know is never really 2%. In that time, we've been able to preserve all student programs and all employee positions. Many of our employees also live in the district, so it's important to us. Thank you.
I've just been notified that we have a 3rd candidate from Elmont who has just joined us. Ms. Simone Swaby, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your name. Could you please also tell us how to pronounce your name and introduce yourself? You have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much for the invitation. I really honor being invited to this very important forum. My name is Simone Swaby. I am a 12-year resident of Elmont. I've lived in Elmont. I live in Elmont with my husband and 3 children. I have 1 child in the elementary school, a 3-year-old that will be entering the system in the next year and a half or 2. My whole impetus for running is I am someone who is committed to community service, and I think that parents and community residents alike should always have an interest in what's going on our school boards, because the element of the school board has such a great impact on the education of our children. And I'd be belaboring the point if I focused on the importance of education in our society, and even more so going forward as our society continues to evolve and innovate around very difficult issues. My focus, of course, is to be a good steward over taxpayer dollars. I want to really build on the success of the district. Prior boards have done an excellent job. Elmont is an excellent school district. I want Elmont to be the choice for families there, for families who want a very safe, very beautiful environment to raise their kids, who understands and who can perceive that the school system in our district is top-notch, excellent. I also want to focus on STEM programs, because I believe that with the evolving nature of the problems that we face today, we definitely need a new approach to education, and that involves a STEM-focused one for me. I am definitely committed to equal access to excellence in our public education. I believe strongly in empowering. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the Freeport candidates. We have Ms. Donna Raphael present with us.
Good evening. Sorry about that. I am Donna Raphael. I am a longtime resident of Freeport. I've been living here for 23 years with my husband. I have children that have graduated from the Freeport School District. Just a little bit about myself. I am successfully driven, educated, and executive for over 20 years. Progressive and extensive experience in managing and administrating youth development and empowerment programs. Solid hands-on budget management skills, including budget preparation and analysis. Transparent and high integrity, hands-on leader, extensive program development expertise. I've been working in the community for over 25 years, working on youth programs, innovative programs, and initiatives, really helping and working with youth to develop voice, leaving legacy, and helping them to also understand their communities. I've also been working with individuals that are working in the schools. I'd like to be able to help and support those individuals. Those are school officials and teachers especially, to help to bridge the gap between school and home, working and listening with parents about what their children's needs are. In a time like this, it's important for us to kind of take a look at what is happening with their educational and academic success. And that includes innovative programming such as e-learning, opportunities for them to be able to be successful. I'd also like to say that in developing peer education programs, I've also worked at the Atkinson School to do an after-school program that taught entrepreneurship to middle to fifth graders. I've also worked with individuals that are really working inside of the schools, primarily those students that are struggling sometimes with even special education services. I served as a parent member working with CSE programs in the village of Freeport.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the Hempstead candidates. Present, we have Ms. Patricia McNeil, Ms. Peggy Perkins, Mr. Victor Pratt, and Ms. Thurn Shivers. We're going to start with Ms. Patricia McNeil. Would you
Hi,
please?
good evening. Good evening. My name is Patricia McNeil, and I'm running for a seat on the Hempstead School Board to work together with the other trustees to protect, develop, and support the students, educators, teacher assistants, and other support staff while keeping my eyes on the budget. I've been a Hempstead resident for over 16 years, volunteering in the school district as a chairperson of the community engagement team for 3 years and counting, As with the Hempstead Community Engagement Team, I've been instrumental in bringing funds and services to the district, such as establishing a mental health clinic in the district for students and their parents. And matter of fact, that health clinic is still in process now, even though school is closed. We've been instrumental in making over the bandbox, the seating, the flooring, the painting, projection screen, instrument, and paint, and more so for the science lab. We were able to allot $500,000, $500,000 for that project to bring the science lab up to date. We were also, the company we hired to service the middle school were able to find money for the high school. They were able to get $1.4 million for the high school over a 3-year period of time. I've been involved with special ed, PTA, that services the entire district as president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And at one time for Hempstead High School, I was the president, vice president. I've been a representative for the district to BOCES financial and budget meetings. I've also been a Girl Scout leader, a give back to the community, graduating 6 young ladies with the second highest award in Girl Scouts, which is the Silver Award. I'm a retired corporate team manager of major accounts, mainly hospitals and universities. As a swimming official, I've gone as high as pre-Olympic trials. I bring strong ethical standards to the district, and I wish to see the students of the Hempstead district soar and compete with the world, not just here locally in Nassau. Thank you again for inviting me to this forum.
Thank you. Next, we're going to have Mr. Victor Pratt, but before that, I just want to remind those that are attending, if you have any questions, please post those questions in the chat. If you're watching via live stream on Facebook, you can post questions in the comments under your Facebook watch party. Someone will get those questions over to us and we will ask them. We've already heard from the Elmont and Freeport candidates, and now we're going to Hempstead candidates. Mr. Victor Pratt, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, good afternoon. Thank you to Delta Sigma Theta for sponsoring this forum. My name is Victor Pratt, and I am running for the Hempstead School Board Trustee. I'm a lifelong resident of Hempstead. I grew up here. I went to school in Hempstead from pre-K to 12th grade. I'm a small business owner in Hempstead, operating primarily out of Hempstead. I've worked for the school district. I've worked in the community with the kids and with the parents as well.
Boards have done an excellent job.
Excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm running for the school board, and I'm a lifelong resident here. So that says pretty much what I stand for as far as where my background is as far as Hempstead.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I skipped Miss Peggy Perkins. I apologize.
That's okay. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Peggy Perkins. I'm a resident here in Hempstead. I'm a mother of 3. I have 3 children. My oldest one who received IEP services at the Hempstead High School. I am also the PTA president of David Patterson School. I'm the co-chair of the Working Family Parties at the Nassau County Club. I am also an activist and community leader in the community. I have actually been in Albany, constantly fighting on local levels, fighting about education, criminal justice, and housing. I am also currently a business owner. I am also in the credit repair business. I do that as well. My fight is about the children. Me being a mother, I see how difficult it is as far as the children not receiving the necessary support and the love that they need in order to move forward. And so I've been fighting Hempstead, like this is not my first fight. I've been, the reason why I am in this fight, it has been longer than that. And so I am highly concerned, and as a mother and as a community leader, and this is why I'm here fighting. Thank you.
I'm sorry, was I muted? Can you all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, hear you. You
Thank
were
you,
muted.
Perkins. I just want to announce we're almost through the Hempstead candidates. If you have any questions and you're watching us on the live stream, please ask any questions in the comment box. We'll grab those. We'll forward those to the candidates. If you're participating via webinar, you could use the chat feature to ask any questions that you have of any of the candidates. You could even make them specific to the district, and we will make sure that those are forwarded to the appropriate candidates. The last person to introduce herself is Ms. Stern Shivers, who's here with us, correct?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stern Shivers. I was originally born in Jamaica, Queens. I'm the youngest of 3 girls. My mother worked for Group Health Insurance Company. My father was a school bus driver for Daniel T. Bus Company. I moved to Hempstead in 2006 after the passing of my husband. My son, Robert, was about 15 months then. I currently am employed with Second Chance Reentry. I'm a peer educator, and I deal with a lot of people who have drug addictions, criminal history problems, and I'm giving them the services that they need. I'm currently running for a seat on the Hempstead School Board because when my son when he started school in the district was failing him then. They didn't have a media in the school that he was in, and I would go to the school board meetings, and there was so much dysfunction at the school board meetings, you know, and then when we find out that our schools were up for receivership, I felt it was my duty as a parent to get involved, you know, because that's my son's life, and that's the kids in Hempstead's life, and they need us to support them. What I bring to me with the board is not, I know I don't wield any power if I get elected on this board, but what I will be is the eyes and the ears for the taxpayers, the parents, and all of the community. I'm able to help bridge the community with the school board because there's a big gap between the parents and the board. And if we're gonna have a productive school, we need everybody on the same page. Presently, I also am a graduate of John Jay School of Criminal Justice. I just graduated from there, York Theological Seminary, where I had received certification in Christian ministry and pastoral counseling and care.
at this time.
The degree I received from, that was my time?
Lakeisha, was that time?
Yes, time was indicated.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Shivers. I see that Mr. Jeffrey Spencer has joined the group. Is that correct? Mr. Spencer? Mr. Spencer, can you hear us? You have to unmute yourself.
Start over there.
Hi, Mr. Spencer. Hi, how are you? Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm over here at the park. We're doing the food pantry, so it's a little rough today.
Okay. So you have 2 minutes to introduce yourself to everyone that's watching.
First, I want to say thank you to the Deltas for doing this forum. My name is Jeffrey Spencer. I'm a lifelong resident of the village of Hempstead. I graduated from Hempstead High. I went through the whole Hempstead education system. I'm a single dad of a 24-year-old daughter who also went through the entire Hempstead school district. I'm a homeowner, so I'm a taxpayer. And I'm a parks commissioner. I'm a 25-year volunteer fireman. And for 25 years, I've been running the fire prevention program where I'm always invited into the schools to teach fire safety and fire awareness. And as a park commissioner, I'm also employed by the village of Hempstead as a recreation attendant for the past 6 years. And in that, over 6 years, we have been doing Halloween parties for the children for the past 8, Thanksgiving for the entire community, and Christmas for the entire community. Last Christmas, we did 625 children through the door. I'm not a 501c. I don't work with any organizations. It's all out of the pockets. We turn nobody away. I'm currently at Brawley Park now doing a food pantry. We've done over 3,000 people in the last 3 times we opened the doors. I'm very interested in our children. I'm very interested in our school system. And that's why I decided to run for school board.
Thank you very much. So we're going to begin with some of the questions that we've received. I'm going to start off with the Elmont candidates, beginning with Mr. Mafia. So these are the Elmont candidates. Mr. Mafia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So Mr. Mafia will answer the question, and it will be Ms. Swaby, then Ms. Capers. What are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for our school districts to address? Why do you see these as needs?
Well, first and foremost, I think the main need is to address children with disabilities. They need special attention, special handling. So that's always been a focus of ours. The second thing is ensuring the safety of all of our children. When they get dropped off in the morning, the parents have a right to know that the child will be protected from both outside elements as well as peer pressure, bullying, things like that. Sorry, there's a lot of feedback. I don't know if that's just on my end. And the third thing is just making sure that all of our children have the tools that they need in order to succeed in life. Thank you.
Other candidates? Only Elmont should be on. I see.
Hi, and can you repeat the question, please?
I will. Thank you. So again, everyone will have 30 seconds to answer the question. What are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for our school districts to address? Why do you see these as needs?
Personally, I mean, I have a strong desire to see the Elmont School District strengthen its STEM programs. That's definitely one of my main focus. And the other would be to find a way to engage more parents in the process of understanding the importance of the school district, the importance of their role within their schools. So those would be my 2 of my main focuses. Was there another question?
No. Was that it, Ms. Swaby?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Capers.
Yes.
I'll repeat the question. What are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for our school districts to address? Why do you see these as needs?
Okay, so first and foremost, I would say state aid. I think that without funds, you can't strengthen and do much for the students. So state aid would be one. I'd also like to see a bit more diversity in the teaching staff at the schools. Our district has 7% minority teachers, and by that they classify it as African American, Hispanic, or Asian. I'd like to see that number balanced out a bit better so that the students can see more teachers that look like them, sound like them, and speak at its time. And then my last would be safety for students. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just going to ask all the candidates to make sure that their mics are muted if they're not speaking. And also, if you can turn your videos off if it's not your district that's presenting at that time. Thank you. So Ms. Donna Raphael. our Freeport school board candidate.
Hello, the video's not able to come back on though. It says that
Okay,
somehow.
so we will have that turned on.
Okay, it says it's unable to start. So, I mean, I'll go ahead and just start. So if you could just, I'm sorry, once again, just repeat the question so I'm ensuring that I'm answering the right.
What are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for our school districts to address? Why do you see these as needs?
I definitely think that we need to make sure that we have innovative programming. It's important for us to be able to compete for our students to be able to compete with others in a worldwide world of thinking. And we want to make sure that our students have academic success. And so the way to do that is to ensure that we continue the successful programs that the district has. We want to make sure that in terms of innovative strategies that it takes bravery to be able to implement new strategies for students, but I think this is the time for that. It's so important when they are learning from home. We need to be able to create strategies for them to be successful. I think another thing for us that's needs to be successful is for us to be able to support teachers, staff, and administrators to be able to reduce the education gap. I am really concerned about the fact that they are learning from home. While education at home might be ideal for some students, it's not for all students. And I think it's going to be extremely important that we provide the supports that are needed for those families, either it's devices and or to also be able to support them educationally for those that are missing or have some deficits. Some of the students that may have special education needs, it's extremely important that we are focusing in on how they are learning, because that is going to be, we're going to need some type of modified learning for them so that they can have in classroom if that's possible at some point, but most importantly for them to be able to access education, resources, and be able to have the supports that they need to be successful as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to move along to the Hempstead candidates. We're going to begin with Ms. Peggy Perkins.
The 3 things that I'm going to focus on is disability, transportation, parent involvement. Disability, because I have my oldest, who is now 17. He receives, he's a special ed child. And I've noticed that even in every school board meeting, they have never mentioned what is going on or any changes when it comes down to the ability programs, the IEP services that these children need. And that is a major concern as me being parent myself, because my son, who's about to graduate, he's about to be a senior. It's a lot of questions with that. Transportation is important to me because I see that because we live in a low income community, a lot of I've seen constantly how a lot of children are walking home. They are walking home from school.
Thank you. Mr. Pratt? Mr. Pratt?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we hear you. Excellent. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Okay. What are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for our school districts to address? Why do you see these as needs?
The needs that are most pressing in Hempstead, I would have to start with fiscal responsibility. We need to, we have limited funds, and we need to spend those wisely. And we cannot afford to keep wasting money and misappropriating funds and spending irresponsible spending. That's really hurting our district. Also, I want to address the grounds and the facilities. If you're looking at the buildings from the street, they don't look too presentable. And kids cannot be proud of where they go to school when they don't like the way they look. And I would also address the community involvement. A lot of decisions made without the community being aware. Our community is a great resource to have as a school district. You know, we have accountants, we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have everybody in the community that can afford. Okay.
Time's up. Sorry.
Ms. Shivers.
The three things that I would like to tackle, like Mr. Pratt, I want to get on that budget. Because we need to clean that budget up. When I was reading it, you know, there's a lot of waste in that budget. There's a lot of raises that shouldn't be given out to certain people when our children are suffering. The second thing I would like to address is the school to prison pipeline. Here we have a very high suspension rate. And instead of putting the kids out of school with nothing to do, I'm part of an organization that is trying to work now for the children who are suspended out of school. We're working along with the Peace After School program, where these children would get educational instructions for 2 hours a day. After that, they would get an hour of leadership training, and then after that, they would get mentorship. Because it's just ridiculous. How many kids on Terrace Avenue I see belongs in school are just in the street?
Thank you, Ms. Shivers. Thank you. So we're going to move on to the next question, and we're beginning with Ms. Donna Raphael from Freeport.
Let's see if I can do the video this time. No video. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Ms. Raphael.
Hi,
what
how are you?
The role of a school board member is building relationships. How will you build relationships across your community to benefit all students?
Thank you for that question. Actually, I value the opportunity to collaborate and work with individuals from many sectors. It's something that I've been doing my entire career, working with families, advocating for families and community. It's something that I believe that it's strongly important for us to be able to communicate what is happening on the board, and for schools and for parents to also have a voice, advocating for them to be able to advocate for their children, number one, but also for them to be able to access information and resources. And so it's an enormous responsibility to be able to be that bridge between parents and school board, but I believe that that's something that I definitely thrive in leveraging those relationships.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving back to the Hempstead candidates, starting with Mr. Pratt. One key role of a school board member is building relationships. How will you build relationships across your community to benefit all students?
Well, that's one thing that one of my strong points is bringing the community together. As a DJ, I've been in situations where, you know, it was paramount to bring, you know, people who normally wouldn't come together. And that's what I want for the school board. I want the community to be involved. I want them to assist the board with making decisions. I want them to be informed of the decisions that are being made. I want them to have, you know, more or less a platform to voice their opinions where they'll be heard and not ignored. I want to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have to apologize to all the candidates. I realize that Mr. Jeffrey Spencer did not have an opportunity to answer the first question. Is that correct, Mr. Spencer? You have to unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yeah.
So first, I want to apologize to you and give you the opportunity to answer that first question, which is, what are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for our school districts to address? And why do you see these as needs?
I think the first thing is open door policy for the parents, because without the parents, we are no board. The second thing is a community-friendly board to get the community involved in our school and in our children and what they need. And the third thing is career class. We need to get classes back, like the mechanics class, a fashion class, a state-of-the-art music class, to get these children's interest in coming to school.
That is time.
And Ms. McNeil, an opportunity to answer that question as well. If we can
Okay,
give
thank
McNeil
you.
that chance.
Was that time for Mr. Spencer?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and Ms. McNeil, I have to apologize to you as well. Is she unmuted?
I'm here.
Okay, I have to apologize to you as well. I did not give you the opportunity to answer that question. Would you please tell us what are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for our school districts to address, and why do you see these as top?
I can't hear you. Can you say the question again, please? Some noise, distractions.
What are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for our school districts to address? Why do you see these as needs?
Okay, the budget. Budget for fiscal responsibility, fiscal accountability, to identify the waste and redirect it into more effective programs for our students. Safety for the students and the educators. And we need to create partnerships to provide internships for our students. And the retention of staff, the turnover is vast and is very costly as far as money and interaction with the students and the remaining staff. We need to work on those things to make it happen. And I believe in advocating through the PTA and the PTSA to make these things happen.
Thank you. I'm going to continue with the second question asked, picking up with Ms. Thurn Shivers. Can everyone please mute Ms. Thurn Shivers? Ms. Shivers, are you present?
And the question again, ma'am?
Yes. One key role of a school board member is building relationships. How will you build relationships across your community to benefit all students?
Well, I have been building relationships with my community for the last several years now. What we do is we have a lot of forums in my particular building with parents dealing with school issues. We have forums with the students so they can vent to us what's going on. We have a partnership, like I said, with the Peace After School program. We have partnerships with fire and other organizations, you know, and it's been working really well. Been working really well.
That is time.
Thank you. Mr. Spencer, I'm back to you.
Yes, ma'am.
One role of a school board member is building relationships. How will you build relationships across your community to benefit all students?
Well, one of the things I've been doing for the past 25 years is every event I do, whether it's Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, I always make a child must be accompanied by a parent or a grandparent. That brings the community together so we can have fun together. I would also reach out to organizations such as the Deltas, the Kappas, people who've graduated from Hempstead, our alumni, who went on to be successful, to come back and bring their input. And the kids can see that if they can do it, they can do it. And we all can work together on the same page.
Thank you. Ms. McNeil, would you please unmute yourself?
Yes.
One key role of a school board member is building relationships. How will you build relationships across your community to benefit all students?
To benefit all students, first of all, what we're doing now at the middle school with the community engagement team, we have a community group. We have a parents involvement group. And I would like to extend that throughout the other schools in the district. The parents must get involved. Once the parents get involved, we can't do anything but succeed. But without the parents, that's a piece that we're missing and it's not working. So we need to have them there to make it happen. So that's the one thing I would do, move the meetings to where the parents are. Instead of waiting for them to come into the school buildings, let's move the meetings to where the parents are meeting at. Us come to them instead of them coming to us.
Thank you. Moving to the Elmont candidates, Ms. Swaby, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
In terms of go ahead.
In terms of building relationships, I'm always of the opinion that in order to build real genuine relationships where the voice of the particular parties involved shines through in the relationship is making sure that you enter into the relationship with a genuine understanding that you're really going to understand what the needs of that particular part of the community is. And once that part of the community really feels comfortable, right, that comfort level in sharing, these are my concerns as it relates to the district. These are my concerns as it relates to my children.
Time.
Thank you. Miss Tiffany Capers.
Hi. So I feel like I already have a relationship with my community. I've been in the community, like I said, for over 20 years. Have been volunteering for the past 15, since my daughter was in kindergarten. I think as a school board member, what I'd look to expand on that is my relationship with the administration. Elmont has a new superintendent at the high school level. He's only completed 1 year. And at the elementary school level, we'll have a new superintendent in July. So I'm looking to partner and collaborate with the administration.
Thank you. Mr. Mafia.
Yes. Well, parental involvement and community involvement is key for the success of the district. We have roving board meetings where each meeting rotate throughout our 6 schools to have a board meeting. So if someone can't travel to a specific school, there will be at least 2 meetings in their area. I believe in getting information out there through use of the website, through the school district's app, and just on the street. Again, I've been on the board for 12 years, I've been in the community for 20. People know me, they come to me with an issue. If I don't know the answer, I will get them an answer. And I think that responsiveness is what helps bring people to the district.
That is time.
Thank you. The next set of candidates to answer the questions first would be Hempstead School District. I have a Hempstead specific question for you. The first candidate will be Ms. Thurn Shivers. The question is as follows. The district continues to receive challenges that are beyond their control, with charter schools being taken away from the budget, now a school monitor overseeing finances, a concentration of poverty or affordable housing in one community, and no transportation aid to ensure the community is a busing district. As a board member, understanding must come first before action. What is it that you hope to learn first as a board member before trying to remedy a solution?
What I would like to learn first as a board member, the first thing I need to do as a board member is to get the trust of the community, which I believe I already have. I don't believe that the challenges that we're facing are beyond our control. And the reason why I believe that is because we are the ones who put ourselves in this predicament. My main focus is uniting the board with the community. We don't have parent participation because the board has no respect for the parents. They don't listen to us. And the only way we're going to have the parents participate is having other parents on the board who have real vested interest in the children and in the district.
That is time.
Thank you. Mr. Jeffrey Spencer, do you need me to repeat?
That was a very long question, but I think I got it. I would first want to know, what resources do we have? And are we eligible for grants? Do we have a grant writer? As a board member, I'm always open to comments, concerns, and suggestions. I don't know everything, but I'm always willing to learn. We have such people as yourself, Ms. Vanderhall, a prominent lawyer from the district. We need to be reaching out to people like you to help us solve some of our issues. A lot of the issues are lack of communication. I am very good at communicating, and I don't have a problem answering anybody's questions because the only person that can rely on me is me. And as a board member, I'll show you better than I can tell you.
Thank you.
Time.
Ms. McNeil, do you need me to repeat the question?
Okay.
Would you like me to repeat the question? I believe you're still on mute. The district
Yes.
continues to receive challenges that are beyond their control, with charter schools taking away from the budget, now a school monitor overseeing finances, and a concentration of poverty or affordable housing in one community, and no transportation aid to ensure the community is a busing district. A board member must first understand before taking any action. What is it that you hope to learn first as a board member before trying to remedy a solution?
Well, what I feel we need to learn first is partnerships with our state elected officials. They are the ones who control the budget. They are the ones who decide what types of fundings. They're very instrumental in determining what type of fundings that we receive. So we need to have a solid relationship with our elected state officials.
Thank you. Ms. Peggy Perkins.
Okay, my answer to that is, as a parent, I've seen the problem is mismanagement of funds. The money has been there, but the money has not been properly utilized, and that's a major concern. As a trustee, honestly, I don't have all the answers. But when I have to sit there and I have to read and I have to study and I have to be educated and get trained on and working with a team, so we could be able to properly move forward, so we could know that, okay, how are we going to solve these problems? Because the resources are there. It's about how to go about to receiving the necessary resources to be able to provide for the community.
Thank you. Mr. Pratt, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I think I got it. If I am elected to the school board, I would like to spend a lot of time learning educational law. We spend a lot of money on litigation in our district because of the improper practices that we are used to. So I would like to learn, the law, what we're able to do legally, as far as the Board of Education, as far as the school district goes. I would like to know how we can address those, the overcrowding situations legally, the charter schools, and all these other factors that are impacting our school district.
Candidate, that is time.
Thank you. Our next question is for Ms. Donna Raphael, and it's a Freeport specific question. Ms. Raphael?
Yes, I'm here.
You are running against two incumbents. What perspective do you hope to bring to the table that is not already at the table?
I want to just start by saying that during this very difficult time, I think that you need someone who understands different platforms and ways of teaching and learning. I know that I have a great deal of experience where it matters in terms of how we're going to be able to develop our young people, really addressing some of the compound trauma that they might be experiencing in isolation, and really addressing, those things that are necessary for those young people that, this is a new world. And so there is no way that anyone has already had this type of experience, how to address those. But I do have experience as it relates to helping them with their education, innovative ideas about how to access information, leverage resources, and also helping them to access resources, supporting parents in a way that's very, very different, because this is a different time.
Thank you. We have a question specific for Elmont. So we will begin with Ms. Swaby. Are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
We will be returning to school post-quarantine. What challenges do you foresee the district having in keeping students and staff safe?
Well, I think a lot of, I think maybe all of the districts across this country will be faced with unforeseen challenges in terms of spacing. As a district, will we decide to have children come to school in shifts to boost safety protocols? So those are, that's one of the very serious issue that I think needs quite a bit of attention. It's a huge obstacle in terms of how we approach this. And I think we need to have parents involved, and we need to be always innovating around this idea. So is it that we have to have shifts? Is it that we have an element of distance learning that continues? So there are a lot of serious questions, but with all the decisions that we have to make, I always want to tap into the parents and understand what works best for them.
Thank you. Ms. Capers?
I think that one of the major concerns or challenges will be to reduce density in the schools, students gathering on the buses, in the lunchroom, the gymnasium, the classroom. I also am concerned about how do you convince a child to keep a mask on all day? Sometimes I don't want to wear my mask. It feels itchy on my face after having it on for a long amount of time. So compliance would be an issue, and safety. There's a lot we don't know about this new COVID version, but where it's inflamed in the children and seen in children. It's a lot we don't know. It inflames the heart. It damages the blood vessels. So I think that it's so much that we don't know, and so much that we have to address in terms of density. It might be something that we'd have to do in pieces. And
Candidates, that is time.
Thank you. Mr. Mafia?
We've had preliminary discussions about this, and I understand the point between these shifts for students where you may split the school day up, but then we have an issue with childcare for the parents who will be returning to work. So there are a lot of questions, and we need to rely on the medical experts to let us know what precautions we need to put in place, because whatever we need to do, we will do. We have to protect the children. They are the future, and they are one of the more susceptible groups with this new infection that seems to target the younger children. So there's a lot of.
Thank you. We will begin the next segment with Elmont candidates, beginning with Ms. Capers. Sorry, here is it. What are your plans to ensure that our students are able to compete with those at higher ranked Nassau County schools and attend the best colleges?
I think our students right now are competing with those students and ranking. Elmont has had repeated years where we've had students that have been accepted into all of the Ivy Leagues. I think if we continue to receive state aid, we have a great science research program where we could use more money for materials, but overall, I think we're on that path already. And if we as a school board continue to support our schools and give them the funds that they need to do, we'll be fine.
Thank you. Mr. Mafia?
Well, I believe that our children are given a lot, and yes, they can always be given more, but our schools, we consistently place high on the testing scales across Nassau County. When our students go on to the high school and graduate, they do go on to Ivy League and very prestigious colleges. And I believe that all begins with the foundation that we give them in the elementary schools. We've had a number of our schools have been rated as blue blue ribbon schools. I think we just need to focus more on the new technology, the emerging technology, to make sure that they are always up to speed. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Swaby?
Yes, Elmont historically has done very well. Our district is constantly performing above standard. But I always think that there is room for opportunity to grow and instill a culture of excellence even more. I have a passion for the STEM subjects. I believe in the world that we are living in today that is constantly evolving and innovating around artificial intelligence and the like. I think our students need more investment, more grant funding into STEM programs that can prepare them for the future ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Raphael from Freeport. Last year, there were teachers who gave students assignments that reflected a significant ignorance of Black history. Do you think culturally competent educators in curriculum is important? What will you do to help our schools make progress in this area?
Yes, I absolutely think that cultural competency is important. I hold a certification in diversity and inclusion, and I plan to definitely work towards helping the school district to implement some strategies to help with our communities. You know, bottom line is that it's so important for all of us to be able to kind of capture what's necessary from each of our individual cultures so that we begin to take a look at what more similarities we have as opposed to all of the differences. And it's extremely important for us to be able to engage in a conversation that helps to move each of our individual cultures forward as opposed to pulling each other apart. So it is absolutely certain that I will include that as a part of my strategy and on the school board.
Thank you. Hempstead candidates. Beginning with Mr. Jeffrey Spencer. How do we know that we can trust you with a $225 million budget?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Okay. I don't know what happened to the video. Well, there's two things about me that a lot of people don't know what my close friends do. My father raised a man, and two things my father always raised me to believe is you don't have to lie and you don't have to steal, because if you lie for me, you'll steal from me. If you steal from me, you'll lie to me. I'm not in nobody's pockets, and I don't want nobody to ever think that you can't trust me with money. My track record speaks for itself.
Thank you. Ms. McNeil.
Yes.
How do we know we can trust you with a $225 million budget?
Well, that number does not frighten me. I've dealt with budgets much larger than that. I'm a retired corporate team manager dealing with accounts, hospitals, and corporations where their budgets are in the billions. So 250 million is not something that's that great. I come with a strong ethical standard, meaning responsibility, honesty, transparency, fairness, and courage. I wish to see the students rise, so I have no reason to take from the students, but I want to see them just soar with the clouds.
Thank you. Ms. Perkins, it's come to my attention that we missed you on the previous question.
Oh.
Ms. Perkins?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to answer this one first. How do we know we can trust you with a $225 million budget?
Well, this budget I don't agree with. Number one, because I don't believe that it's going to cut out a lot of the teachers. And we need our teachers, we need our staff. I am a person where I always notify the community what is going on. And so I'm trustworthy. You could send me to the store with $1 and I'll bring you back your change. I don't care if it's a penny. I have 3 children in the district. And so that's my concern as a parent.
Thank you. Ms. Perkins, I'll come back to you with the other question. Mr. Pratt, How do we know we can trust you with a $225 million budget?
I didn't come out of nowhere. I've been in this district for, like I said, my whole life. I have a pretty good track record when it comes to integrity and doing the right thing when it comes to, so I've raised money for events. I have done things in the district and with the children and with the community that that came out of my own pocket. You know, I have not been one that is looking for the spotlight or trying to grandstand. I will do the right thing. It's about being informed, and I like to be informed with everything that I do. If there's something I don't know, I will look it up. I will find out, you know, what we're doing wrong or what we're doing right, and I'll act accordingly.
Thank you. Ms. Shivers, how do we know we can trust you with a $225 million budget?
Because that money's accounted for. The money's not mine. It belongs to the students in the district. And with this $225 million budget you're talking about, with the deficit that we're in, it's only going to be something like 216. So, like I said, we have to clean up our previous budget to see actually what we're spending. We need actuals, and we haven't been getting actuals.
Thank you. Ms. Perkins, I'm going to end here with you the question that we missed. The district continues to receive challenges that are beyond their control with charter schools, taking away from the budget, now a school monitor overseeing finances, a concentration of poverty or affordable housing in one community, and no transportation aid to ensure the community is a busing district. As a board member, you have to understand first before you can take action. What is it that you hope to learn first before trying to remedy the problem?
I have to sit down and I have to look through all the paperwork. I have to do, because if I don't do my research, if I do not do my own the proper investigation, then the problem cannot be solved. And so I have to find out where did the money go? Why are these children are not receiving what they need? And so I'm not going to have the answers, but in order for me to have the answers, I have to do my homework. I have to do the training. I have to do the
Candidate, that is time.
Thank you very much. At this time, we need to transition to the Uniondale, Roosevelt, and Westbury candidates. But before we do that, I'd like each candidate to give us out their final 15 seconds to close. I've also been notified, since there are a lot of questions specifically for the Hempstead candidates, if you'd like to stay on, we will come back and address additional questions to you. To begin closing, I'd like to start with Freeport, Ms. Donna Raphael.
So first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to take part in this candidate forum. I'd just like to leave us with, as a board member, I understand that it will require vision, district support, leadership, and I'm prepared to work with families, communities, and the youth, most importantly. And this year, we won't be traveling to the polls. And so it's important in the upcoming days that if you have not received your ballot for Freeport, please make sure that you contact the district and let them know that you need an absentee ballot. Most importantly, all eligible registered voters, please make sure that you're.
Thank you. Next to close will be from Hempstead, Ms. McNeil.
Hi, thank you. As the school district and the student grades improve, our property values will go up. Together we can rise. I vote for Patricia McNeil, row B. I want to be your advocate. I can hit the ground running from day one, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Thank you. Ms. Perkins?
My name is Peggy Perkins. Give me a second. Okay, my name is Peggy Perkins. I want to say thank you to everyone for giving me the opportunity to hear me and hear me out and get to know about me. Please vote for me because we need a parent on the school board that is concerned about our children. and who also has a child who receives this, disability. I speak 3 different languages as well. I'm a fighter, I'm an activist, I've been vocal in the community, and this is the type of person that we need, that is about, who is about the community, who is about the parents, who is about making the changes that is necessary for us and for our children.
It's time.
Thank you. Mr. Victor Pratt.
Can you hear me? I can't start the video. Oh, okay. Yes, once again, I'm Victor Pratt, and I'm running for Hempstead School Board. Let's make Hempstead great again. If you're new to Hempstead, let's just make Hempstead great. But if you remember Hempstead the way it used to be, let's make Hempstead great again. Vote Row D, Victor Pratt. And let's bridge the gap between education and community.
Thank you. Ms. Stern Shivers.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Stern Shivers. I know an hour is not enough to get to know me, but if you want to know more about me, you can Google me. That's THERN Shivers, and you can see all the great works that me and other networks have done, not only for the school, but for our community.
Thank you. Mr. Jeffrey Spencer.
Did you say Jeffrey?
We can't hear you.
It's a lot of static.
Perkins, can you please mute your
Perkins, can you please mute?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Are you ready for me now?
Yes.
Yes. My name is Jeffrey Spencer. I'm a lifelong resident of the village of Hempstead. I didn't wake up yesterday and say, I want a title, I need a title. My title speaks for itself. I've been doing this over 25 years of my life. I love our children. I love our community. I'm row F. Please, when you get that ballot in the mail, check off row F, Jeffrey Spencer, mail it back in. I won't let you down. I approve the district is the place to be, Hempstead first.
Thank you. Mr. Mafia from Elmont.
My name is Anthony Mafia, and I'm running. I can promise you that I will continue to fight for the best education that we could offer our children, as they are the future. But I will also fight to keep the cost to my Elmont neighbors as low as possible. I want to thank you for your support over the past 12 years, and I respectfully ask for your continued support. Row 1A,
That is time.
Please vote for the children.
Thank you. Ms. Swaby.
Hi, I'm Simony Swaby. I first want to say thanks again for this opportunity. I want to say thanks to everyone who showed up tonight. It was very informative. I learned a lot as well. I'm someone who's always looking to learn, and I want to say a big thank you to the Elmont School District. They've done an excellent job in terms of preparing our kids for the future. But in the end, we have diverse needs here in Elmont. We have evolving needs, and I believe that I come equipped to.
Thank you very much. So now we'll begin the second half of our forum tonight, which will include candidates from Roosevelt, Uniondale, and Westbury. Again, at the end of that presentation at 8 p.m., we will include some additional questions for Hempstead candidates, as I know that there are still left outstanding. If you'd like to stay for that, please feel free to participate and listen in on the current program, and we will engage the Hempstead candidates after we finish with Uniondale, Roosevelt, and Hempstead. From Roosevelt, we have Mr. Carl Hawkins, Mrs. Belinda Monroe, Miss Emily Moore, and Mr. Alfred Taylor. Are you all here with us? Can you all hear me? I'll move forward. From Uniondale, Dr. Mary Bediaco, Miss Natalie Longsworth, Mr. Christopher Moses, are you all present?
Yes, Chris is present.
Thank you. Dr. Bediaco, are you present?
Yes.
And Natalie Longsworth, are you present? I will move forward. From Westbury, we have Robin Bowling, Shirley Cadet, Rodney Keynes, and Karen Campbell. Are you all present?
We're
Hello.
moving people over from the attendee section. Please bear with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pratt left. Patricia McNeil stayed on. Patricia McNeil stayed on.
I see Miss Natalie Longsworth. Can you unmute yourself just to make sure we can hear you?
Yes, ma'am. This is Natalie Longsworth.
Thank you. Dr. Bediaco, are you able to unmute yourself so we can hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so Unidale candidates are here. I'm gonna go back to Westbury. Is Robin Bowling in yet? Shirley Cadet? Rodney Keynes? Miss Cadet, I see you're here. Can you please unmute yourself so we know that we can hear you?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good.
Mr. Keynes, I see that you're here. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent, thank you. Are we waiting on Karen Campbell or Robin Bowling?
Robin, can you unmute yourself, please?
Okay, I'm gonna move on to the Roosevelt candidates. Is Mr. Carl Hawkins in?
Okay, there I am. Oh.
Mr. Carl Hawkins? Is Miss Belinda Monroe in? Miss Emily Moore? Mr. Alfred Taylor? Okay, I see that Miss Robin Bowling is in.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Okay, we can hear you clearly. You can go back on mute. And then
Okay.
Karen Campbell?
Yes, Karen Campbell is here. I can hear you.
Excellent, thank you.
Alfred Taylor here.
Sorry, candidates are here. I'm gonna go back to Roosevelt. Mr. Carl Hawkins, are you here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, excellent, thank you. Miss Belinda Monroe? Okay. Miss Emily Moore?
Emily Moore is here. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Alfred Taylor?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to begin with allowing each candidate to introduce themselves. You'll have 2 minutes to do so. Please excuse us if you go past that time. We will allow you to finish your last thought or your last sentence, but after that, we will have to mute you in order to continue the flow of the program. We have questions that have already been emailed in to us. Some of them are specific to certain districts. We'll address those questions to the appropriate parties. Each candidate will have 30 seconds to respond to a question. And again, please excuse us. If you go over the 30-second time limit, we'll allow you to finish your last sentence or thought, but if you move past that, we will have to mute you in order to move on. At the close, we will ask each candidate to give us a 15-second closing. For those attendees that are still with us, that are interested in the Uniondale, Roosevelt, and Westbury candidates, please, if you have any questions, you can put those into the chat feature. We will get those. And for those of you who are watching on live stream via Facebook, you can continue to ask your questions in the comment section, and we will address those as well. Thank you very much. Beginning in alphabetical order by school district first. Mr. Carl Hawkins, will you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Carl Hawkins. I've been born and raised in Roosevelt, been a resident for the past 30 years. My focus is on the commitment of encouraging and obtaining the greatness for the children of Roosevelt. I'm a graduate of the University of Delaware, Hofstra University, and Queens College. I'm running with Miss Emily Moore in terms of trying to make sure changes are made in the district because we want to make changes in terms of where we see the district is going. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Emily Moore, will you please introduce yourself?
My name is Emily Moore. I've been in the Roosevelt District for over 50 years. I graduated from Morgan State College. I'm a former Peace Corps volunteer, former People to People Ambassadors Program, and I came back to Roosevelt in '68. I've been in here, the Roosevelt School District for 37 years. I'm retired, and now I've been working on every level of education from Brooklyn College, Roosevelt, Hofstra, Roosevelt, every level of education in the Roosevelt School District. Making a difference in the community, continually trying to make a difference in the community. I'm distracted, the phone is ringing. But anyway, my work speaks for myself. I've been here in the community, serving humanity, working for the betterment of children in the school district and in the country. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Alfred Taylor.
Good evening. How you doing?
Yourself. Hello.
All right. My name is Alfred Taylor. First of all, thank you to the Sisters of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated for putting this together. For the past 9 years of my life, I've dedicated to being on this Board of Education and bringing Roosevelt to a better place. I'm born and raised in Roosevelt, 42 years old. I have 2 daughters in Roosevelt. My wife's an educator in Roosevelt, and basically, we're just a good old Roosevelt love story. And this is what I've been doing for the past 9 years of my life. And I want to continue doing so. So vote for Alfred T. Taylor, Alfred Terrence Taylor, on your card when you receive it. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have to remind all candidates that if you're not speaking, to please mute yourself. Beginning with the Uniondale candidates, Dr. Mary Betty Yako, will you please introduce yourself?
And thanks to all the organizers of this forum. My name is Dr. Mary Bidiako, and I'm running for the Uniondale School Board, and I'm row 1A. My background, I came to the United States in 1976 and attended Columbia University for my master's and doctorate degree. I've been a Uniondale resident for the past 39 years. My 3 now grown children, Fisher, Della, and Sika, they all went through the Uniondale School District. I'm running for the school board because I want to give back to my community, which has been very good to me over the years, especially for my children. I've been in education for over 40 years, and 50 years of those 40 years I've been an assistant superintendent for health. And for 19 years, I was also the district clerk.
Dr. I believe that's your time.
Thank you. Miss Natalie Longsworth.
Hi, good evening. My name is Natalie Longsworth, and I am a 10-year district resident. The reason why I'm running for school board trustee is my platform is ACT, Access, Collaboration, and Transparency. While the Uniondale School District currently provides quality education, there's still room for improvement, more specifically in the area of special needs. We have a responsibility to provide increased access to the students who require additional supports in degrees of vulnerability. In order to continue the progress within the district, we need strategic collaboration with the community stakeholders, and that includes parents, teachers, students, district leaders, and civics. All of these stakeholders should have the ability to participate in the process. Furthermore, to ensure accountability and transparency with respect to the resources, we need a thorough and succinct review of everything. I'm experienced in auditing and evaluating multi-million dollars worth of expenditures, and will have the ability to review the budget closely and balance it against educational, professional, and community-driven benchmarks. Those are the reasons why I'm running for Uniondale School Board Trustee. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Christopher Moses, will you please introduce yourself?
Hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm Christopher Moses. I'm a 30-year resident in Uniondale. I have 3 children in the Uniondale School District, as well as I was in the Uniondale School District all the way from Smith Street to the high school. I wanted to run because I have the biggest investment in Uniondale, which is my 3 children. And I feel like if I am able to be a trustee and learn more and be involved more on that, on that stake, I'm able to make a change for my children, which would affect your children. And that's, that to me, that's the biggest thing. My biggest investment is my children. And if I can get involved to help out and fix any issues, any problems, or at least open up an ear to issues that I see, then I'm willing to do that.
Thank you. Moving on to the Westbury candidates.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We do have Miss Monroe here from Roosevelt.
Okay, I'll go back. Thank you. Miss Robin Bowling. Miss Robin Bowling, are you here? I'll move forward. Miss Shirley Cadet.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, would you please introduce yourself?
My name is Shirley Cadet. I'm from Westbury. I've been a resident for over the past 25 years. I'm the mother of 3 kids, 1 in college, 1 graduating this year, and 1 in 10th grade. I've had the honor and opportunity to serve on the school board in Westbury from 2016 through 2019. Prior to 2016, Westbury experienced for decades the issue of being overcrowded, performance issues academically. And when I ran the first time, I promised my community that change will be coming, and change did come. From 2016 to through 2019, we resolved the overcrowding issues. Graduation rates went from 67 through 85%. The kids are staying in college. The work is not done. There's more that needs to be done. And I've promised and I have provided results. I want my community to stand by me. And I have the urge and the, I just want to change for my community and the students in Westbury. So I'm asking everyone to vote for me because more can be done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Rodney Keynes, would you please introduce yourself?
Sure, good evening. My name is, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Rodney Keynes. I am a 40-year resident of Westbury, a product of Westbury Public Schools, and I've been a trustee for the last 9 years. In addition to that, I attended the United States Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, New York. And for the past 17 years, I've worked as a mechanical engineer for a national energy efficiency company. I'm very active in my community, and I'm running for re-election to the school board. Like I said, my wife Tracy and I, we have 4 daughters, 3 of whom are members of the Westbury Public School System. My oldest daughter actually is a graduate of Westbury High School and is in her senior year of college at Bowie State University. The reason why I'm running is to continue the work that the school board has helped to achieve. I've realized after 9 years that you're only as good as the people that work alongside of you. And I can say that the board that we have and the board that we've had last year, we've actually worked very well together. And so we want to continue the work, the good work that has taken place in our district. We have quite a few construction projects underway, and I'd like to see them to the end. And like I said, the other reason that I'm running is so that I can continue to be a role model in our community. It's a lot of children that need to see our face doing good things. And I'm one of those in our community that do good things. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Karen Campbell?
Hello, yes, good evening. Thank you for allowing me to participate. I'm Karen Campbell. I'm a 48-year resident of the Westbury community. I am an alumni of Westbury High School and a former school board trustee. I served as a trustee for 14 years and also as past president of the school board. And as I heard, there are many great things that are happening in Westbury, and a lot of those foundations were laid years ago. I would like to be a part of the continuance of the movement in the right direction for our community. I think greatest for me is the fact that board members may be working well together and doing great things, but there's definitely a gap between communications. There are people in the community who are not informed or aware or involved. I want to support all community stakeholders and represent them as an advocate for better community and better schools. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm aware that Miss Belinda Monroe is now present from Roosevelt. Miss Monroe? Okay. Miss Robin Bowling, are you present?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Hi, would you please introduce yourself?
Good evening. My name is Robin Bowling, and I too want to thank the Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated organization for holding this so much needed meet and greet candidate during this time. Is so important for us to be woke, as they say, and for us African Americans running an elected office during this time is a great thing. So I am a lifelong resident of the Westbury area. I currently live in Newcastle. My children are alumni as well. I feel that the Westbury community is someplace that people grow. People grow to learn, to live, and to love one another. It's about the relationships. It's about the communications within the community, within the people that live here. And our teachers have reached out and they have become a part of the community. During this pandemic, I have seen so many teachers who have gotten in contact with me to do different things to let the kids know that they care. We as a school board, collectively, those 7 persons that sit on that board, and if we have those great communication skills and those great partnerships and relationships, that you see that in the work that's being done. And as my former board members and my current board members have said, you know, we have a foundation that has been laid, and currently we are seeing the fruit of our labor, and that is great. And I want to continue to see those great things happen. So that is why I'm running for re-election. You know, my thing here is Westbury love is real love. And during this time, you see that within our community, within all the different organizations and the people that come out. So please vote for us, me, Robin Bowling, and Rodney Keynes.
Thank you. Miss Belinda Monroe, are you present?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Will you please introduce yourself?
Hi. First, I'd like to thank the Social Action Network along with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated for conducting this. My name is Belinda Monroe. I've been a Roosevelt resident since 2000. I've been very instrumental within my school district and my community. I've served as the PTA president, the PTA treasurer. I was a co-founder of the new district-wide parent-teacher-student organization. I'm currently serving on the Roosevelt Board of Education in an appointed seat, which I've held since January. I have 2 children in the district. My daughter is actually a senior this year, and I'm so proud. She's the salutatorian of the Roosevelt class of 2020. And I have another daughter who is a incoming senior for next year. So I'm so proud of our students. I have such a great love for the Roosevelt community, which I've served for over 12 years, and I am simply continuing on my journey.
Thank you, and congratulations to your daughter.
Thank you.
The first question will begin with the Uniondale candidates, beginning with Ms. Natalie Longsworth. How do you propose to engage the community to be more visible at meetings?
Hi. So my plan to engage the community is, number one, reaching out to our local stakeholders. That includes civics, that includes PTAs, and giving a sense of who our community members are and meeting them within their respective locations. In a post-COVID, or we're currently in COVID time, that would include reaching out virtually through prospective applications, as we all have smartphones, and truly just making my presence known and letting everyone know that I am available to them wherever, whatever the time may be.
Thank you. Mr. Moses, do you need me to repeat the question?
I can hear it, I just can't turn on my video.
Okay.
It says that, okay, there you go. So the easiest way is social media. Everybody's on social media, and a lot of times people limit social media to Facebook. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, and a lot of the younger people in Uniondale are on those platforms. So that's what we can start using to get parent involvement, to get people more involved in our community, as well as me. I am a Uniondale graduate, and I know a lot of people in Uniondale. I'm one person that went through the entire Uniondale system, and then I came and I stayed. So I know a lot of people, and I'm willing to, you know, if they need help, they want to ask questions, reach out and, you know, let them know what's going on in the community to be involved. So social media is the best way.
That is time.
Thank you. Dr. Bediako, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, thank you. I concur with all that the other candidates said, and that in this COVID and post-COVID era, chat rooms like the Zoom will be an excellent media for connecting with the community. All board meetings now could be videotaped and be on Zoom, just like we are doing right now. And relating to all stakeholders and reaching out to them, that would be a great instrument to connect with the community.
That is time.
Thank you. I'm moving forward to the Westbury candidates, beginning with Miss Robin Bowling. Are you present? Okay, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Thank you. What ideas do you have for maximizing limited funding available while not sacrificing quality?
Maximizing, can you repeat that again?
What ideas do you have for maximizing limited funding while not sacrificing quality?
What will we using the funding on? Is there anything specific? I mean, I wouldn't want to lose teachers. I wouldn't want to lose programs. So when you ask that question, what would you said maximize the funding on what though? What would you want to put the funding towards?
That's from the audience.
I'm sorry. But I mean, so my thing would be to maximize the funding for teachers and the education of the students.
Thank you. Ms. Cadet?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, what ideas do you have for maximizing limited funding while not sacrificing quality?
I will definitely start with special education. In Westbury, we are currently spending around 10% of our budget in in special education. We need to renovate this program in Westbury because we transfer out services elsewhere instead of instead of keeping services in Westbury. The plan is to bring back special education in Westbury, providing quality services to the children that are in need.
Thank you. Mr. Keynes, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. What ideas do you have for maximizing limited funding while not sacrificing quality?
I think what we need to do is we need to engage our community partners. We need to engage our civic associations. We have a lot of professionals in the Westbury community with a lot of connections that I think we need to leverage their connections to bring services to our district. Not only bring services to our district, but to enhance the programs that are outside of our district. There are a lot of community-based organizations that provide the support we need, and when we're crunched in a time such as this with budgets and the funding that we receive, we need to make sure that we leverage that. It's important that we also reach out to those that have other ideas and other avenues to bring funding into our district.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell. Ms. Karen Campbell, are you present? Hi, we can't hear you, Ms. Campbell.
Okay, sorry about that. So the ideas that I would have definitely surround a form of audit. We need to do a review and to make sure that we are spending appropriately across the board in all of our areas, especially in terms of our curriculum. I know that these are difficult times, and perhaps through this struggle, we're all going to learn that sacrifice may have to be the way for a while. And so we may not be able to enhance salaries as we have in years past, and contracts may not be as lucrative because we really do need to play catch up. I think that the funding, the fight for funding has to continue at the state level.
That is time.
Thank you. The next set of questions will be addressed to the Roosevelt candidates. Mr. Hawkins, are you present?
Yes.
And thank you. Ms. Monroe? Ms. Monroe?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm
Ms.
present.
Moore, are you present? Ms. Moore?
Yes, I'm present.
Okay, and Mr. Taylor?
I'm here.
Excellent.
I can't control my video though.
Okay.
My video's frozen.
We can hear you though.
Can someone
Okay.
from our, thank you. Okay, so the first question is going to be addressed to Ms. Belinda Monroe. Last year, there were teachers who gave students assignments that reflected a significant ignorance of Black history. Do you think culturally competent educators and curriculum is important? What would you do to help your school district make progress in this area?
I've actually already been doing it. While not on the board, but a member of the board committee, the equity committee, I helped write the equity policy, and we started a equity learning institute in our school district. And that is to instruct our teachers and community, our all staff, we had TAs, we had administrators, and we focused on equity and cultural proficiency, and we had to stop it because of the coronavirus, but we were basically
Candidate, that is time.
our fourth session.
Thank you. Thank you. Miss Emily Moore, do you need me to repeat the question?
Oh, all my life I've been, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All my life I've been fighting for justice and equality. The key thing will be for us to get the funds we need so that the administration, the teachers, the staff, and the children be able to meet the needs of the least of us, children who have, whether it's physically challenged or otherwise. Keeping in reference to, I will also state that our elected officials, they have to be accountable to our community. We pay federal, state, and local taxes. It's our money that they use their statistics to get the money and then they give it to somebody else. I want our community to get what they're entitled to, what they've been working for, and what they have, because we have achieved under some of the most horrific situations. Our children have gone through some of the most affluent black schools in the country.
Thank you very much. Mr. Alfred Taylor, do you need me to repeat the question?
Yeah, sure, please. No, can you repeat the question?
Last year, there were teachers who gave students assignments that reflected a significant ignorance of Black history. Do you think culturally competent educators and curriculum is important? What would you do to help your school district make progress in this area?
Well, in having individuals within our schools who are experienced and allowing our superintendent and our leadership to do their job is the most important part. So when you start talking about the cultural ignorance of whatever assignments or the situation that occurred, we had individuals in place that did their due diligence to make sure that those individuals are not in front of our children, and to boost the policies and things of the district to make sure that we are starting to pull in more individuals that have cultural significance and relevance to our students. So we've been doing that.
Time.
Thank you. Mr. Hawkins.
Yes.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, that's okay. Thank you. So, and just in what I would advocate, and what Mr. Monroe has already stated, is basically a workshop program where all teachers are given that opportunity to be educated in terms of the past of Black history. That's what I think is lacking in the schools. So that's where you need to start first. Pretty much a blanket workshop for the entire school district employees, so there's no reemergence of incidents like that happened before. Thank you.
Thank you. For the next set of questions, the next question will be addressed to the Westbury candidates, beginning with Mr. Rodney Keynes. Are you present?
Yes, I am.
If you are elected, what is the top action item that you feel is necessary to improve your school district?
The top action item that I think is needed is to improve and increase our parental, not parental involvement, but the education of our parents in terms of what they should be asking, who they should be contacting. I was actually fortunate enough to sit in on a call today with our community engagement group, and I could tell that our parents, I would like to see our parents reach out more to their individual teachers, principals, and board members. You know, when there are things that you don't understand or things that you're not aware of, you have to be able to bring it to our attention so that we can address it swiftly.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell?
Yes, can you repeat the question?
Yes. If you are elected, what is the top action item that you feel is necessary to improve your school district?
Yes, as I stated in my opening, I think it's going to be critical for our community to truly work together, to come together as one, backing our school district and continuing on the road of improvement. We have many communities within our community, and we also have communities who are at odds with each other and people who are not working well together. And I think it's possible for us to come together and work for the common good of the community and our children. I do know that this divide has kept us from staying informed. And when people are not informed, they're not engaged. And when they're not engaged, they disappear, they check out. So I would like to invite people back to the schools and try to increase community involvement.
Candidate, that is
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you. Ms. Bowling, are you present?
Yes, I am.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
If you are elected, what is the top action item that you feel is necessary to improve your district?
I would like to give the parents more of an education on as Rodney stated, on what to do, how to do, and when to do. A lot of our community-based organizations, we have to step up. Currently, I am the vice president of the Westbury NAACP, and as an organization, we need to step up and help the parents and kind of guide them. We have a program called the Lifted program, and within that program, we teach parents how to ask questions about what their student is doing, how to get the resources. If your child needs help, who to go to get those resources. And sometimes we have to reach back out to our PTA because some of our PTAs are not understanding what their role is as advocates. And we need to show them that and show them how to do that. As a former PTA president.
That is time.
Thank you. Ms. Cadet, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, it's okay, thank you. As an educator, I would say definitely special education in Westbury. We are in great need of a huge renovation in terms of special education. Second would be engaging the community. Third, increasing academic performance. We're doing a great job. We're on a good path. And last, I would say school expansions.
Thank you. The next question is addressed to the Uniondale candidates, beginning with Mr. Christopher Moses. As the census is impacting the amount of resources to education, what would you as a candidate do to ensure the community gets its fair share?
So I wish I got some of those other questions. Those are some good questions. But again, letting them know about the census is, again, through social media. It's the only way that we can, let everyone know at the same exact time, and everyone would be able to be involved. So social media, again, is the best way to promote that and let everyone know in our community about the census and to be involved and to understand how important it is to be involved.
Thank you. Dr. Bediako? Dr. Bediako, are you present?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The census is very important for the whole community and for the whole state and all the cities. But the most important census that we need is to be able to know the number of students that we have in our school district, because foundation aid, that is the basis for the state aid, is based on our school census. So we need to be able to count all our students and be able to present that data on a timely basis so that the district can receive its fair share of the state aid that is coming from Albany. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Longsworth?
Madam Moderator, could you please repeat the question?
Yes. As the census is impacting the amount of resources that go into education, what would you as a candidate do to ensure your community gets its fair share?
Well, my first priority would be to ensure that our community members actually understand the importance of the census, as making sure that they understand the actual process. We have a lot of members of our community that have language barriers, might have received the paperwork as it relates to the census and are unsure of how to complete the census. So it would be a matter of reaching out to our local stakeholders, including our civics and our associations, and ensuring that we have items or FAQs completed in multiple languages and disseminating that information to our community to ensure that they know and understand the importance of completing the census and getting these resources into our community.
Thank you. The next question will be addressed to directed to the Westbury candidates, beginning with Ms. Karen Campbell. Are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
One key role of a school board member is building relationships. How will you build relationships across your community to benefit all students?
Well, the first way I would begin and continue, I should say, is to speak the truth and to let people know that it's very important as a local representative, elected or otherwise, that you include all of the stakeholders to make sure that you do not leave constituents behind. After I was not reelected to the school board, my constituents have expressed to me their lack of information and communication and disconnect with the school district in terms of where we are, how things are going. I was asked to come forward and run again because they do not feel represented. So I do think that it's important that people be honest about the relationships that we have and kind of not think about self and just think about what's for the best for the community.
Thank you. Ms. Robin Bowling. Ms. Bowling, are you present?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Would you like to repeat the question?
Please repeat the question.
One key role of a school board member is building relationships. How will you build relationships across your community to benefit all students?
Well, that's been my life. That's been my lifestyle from being a parent on the PTA to a school board member. I don't need a title to build the relationships because I am a community person. I know each and every faction, each and every neighborhood of my community, and they're able to reach out to me at any time to ask me anything that's going on. I'm always trying to bring us together through all of the organizations that I serve in the capacity as, you know, the president, vice president, whatever it is. My biggest concern is as an NAACP vice president, we represent all persons. So that is my main relationship to everybody in my community, bringing them together so we can serve our community and that our students and our children grow up knowing that each and every person is important.
Thank you. Ms. Cadet?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
One key role of a school board member is building relationships. How will you build relationships across your community to benefit all students?
You know, as a community member, a citizen of your environment, you don't need to be on the school board to build relationships. But being on the school board, it helped me to work together as a team and not being selfish. Again, it's to engage the community, all the stakeholders, not only talking about the issues, but resolving issues, bringing solutions, you know, church members, you know, bring everybody together, the parents, families together, talking about the issues, but as well as resolving them and bringing a solution.
Candidate, that is time.
Thank you. Mr. Keynes, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you need me to repeat the question?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Building relationships is definitely an important aspect of being a board member. But what I think it takes is a genuine desire to meet your community where they're at. So every community member is not always going to be able to attend the latest luncheon or the latest event that's taking place, but take walks in your community. You know, engage your community in issues that are important to them. You know, we come and go through our community in many different avenues. And I think that what we need to start to do is just, you know, stop and have a conversation at the Dunkin' Donuts. Stop and introduce yourself at the local 7-Eleven. You know, we live in our community, so we need to make it our community. And so that's one thing that I've tried to do.
Thank you. The next question will be directed to the Roosevelt candidates, beginning with Miss Emily Moore.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Amid the COVID-19 outbreak, how should our school districts prepare for the safety and health of students and staff upon reopening?
You know what? It's very imperative and it's very important for us as educators, as citizens of this country, to deal with the administration, the teachers, the staff, the maintenance, on every level, and also meet the needs of every child. That's the key to this. Communicating every day of my life, whether I'm in the community or whether I'm in the school district teaching or in the park. My whole thing is that our greatness is up to us. It's our responsibility to train and educate young people and motivate them so they can be whatever they want to be and be successful. Success comes with striving for excellence and working hard. Discipline and self-control depends on the people who are willing to show love and respect for all people in order to make not only the Roosevelt community, which is a very outstanding community, have achieved so much under so many different difficult situations, but also that we are the vanguard of the liberation struggle in this community, and we are the microcosm of the world, this 1 square mile. We show love and respect in reference to training and educating our children. They will be prepared to survive whatever they have to survive, because our ancestors paid a big price for us to be here. And that's why I'm here today and you here today in order to present this program. So we have to get down to the basics. It's up to us to.
Thank you.
You know, we love you.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you repeat the question?
No, I don't. I don't have video, by the way. It's saying that the host stopped.
Teresa?
Well, I don't need video. The bottom line is this. There's no preparing for this. This is something new. So as a parent of a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old who are students in this district, if I'm not comfortable sending my children, I'm not going to let you send yours. So moving forward, it's about listening to what the governor is telling us as far as what he's going to allow to be done, and making sure that the resources that we have in place, because I mean, over the years, Roosevelt has managed to have money to be able to maneuver to make sure that we're just responsible with what we're doing with our funding. But the bottom line is there's no preparing for this. This is a new ground. This is something where in my 9 years, I've never had to deal with. So it's all about now just making sure that you have your staff in place to be able to do the right thing, to make sure everything is done quickly.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hawkins, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Do you need me to repeat the question?
So I believe the question is basically how do we move forward in terms of COVID-19, and the only thing I can say is because it's so uncertain, certainty regarding the virus is that we need to follow our federal, state, and local guidelines in terms of proper ways of interacting. We don't know exactly how it's continues to spread in terms of what's going on. So I would just basically follow those guidelines and work on collaborating with other districts in terms of what they're doing, and try to have a collaborative meeting with them to see what they're doing in their district and how we can probably mimic that. And again, provide that training to our staff here so we can provide parents reassurance that we're doing all the best we can on our part to ensure that their children are safe in the environment they're letting them.
That is time.
Thank you. Ms. Monroe?
The whole stop my video.
Okay. Teresa?
Okay, there it is. All right, so we know during this COVID-19 crisis that we all have to follow the executive orders that come down. But in Roosevelt, what we have planned is to provide professional development teachers on using Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and the various other means of virtual learning, because that seems to be where we're going. We also are actively seeking grants to put a laptop in each student. We were very grateful to be able to provide our students during this crisis. Everyone who needed it, they were able to come up to Roosevelt and get a laptop. We also have a superintendent who belongs to the task force of Nassau Suffolk superintendents, and they are actively working on ways of what September is going to look like for our students.
That is time.
Okay.
Thank you. So this, Roosevelt, you're also going to answer the next question first, again, in this next segment. So we're going to begin with Mr. Alfred Taylor.
All right.
Sorry.
I don't have video. There you go. All right.
All right. What are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for Roosevelt School District to address?
For one, the registration of our students, to make sure that we have the residency requirements for our students, to make sure we're accounting for the right amount of students. I feel like that we're hemorrhaging money there. The other one is getting a whole of the charter school budget line, because the charter school budget line is based upon those same residency requirements that we have to grab hold of. And number three, stable leadership. You know, we need a leader that's fearless and moving forward. And as we look to changing our whole curriculum structure and moving to a Princeton model, that this is something that we need a leader to take a hold of and be able to guide, you know, as a Board of Education, as we allow them to, like I said, do their job, and for them to allow us to do ours, which is to.
That is.
Thank you. Mr. Hawkins.
Yes.
What are 2 or 3 needs that must be priorities for Roosevelt School District to address?
Just off the top of my head, I would have to say the first one would be fiscal management, because money is being wasted for whatever reason. And the second thing is, I would say, consistent, rigorous academics from elementary, pre-K, up through the high school. Consistent, rigorous instruction.
Thank you. Ms. Monroe?
Hello?
Hi, do you need me to repeat the question?
I would say experienced leadership. I would say funding. And you said 2 or 3?
Yes.
All right, and so when we get the funding, the proper appropriation of those funds. Those would be our top 3 issues in Roosevelt. Leadership, funding, and how we are utilizing those funds.
Thank you. Ms. Monroe, I'm sorry. No, Ms. Moore, I apologize.
Okay. Thank you so much for the work that y'all doing in order to meet the needs of the community and the people. Firstly, it's our responsibility, all for one and one for all. It's up to us to make a difference in this world and also in our community. We need people to be honest, disciplined, and self-control so they can communicate to the children on every level. We're talking about meeting the needs of every child, not just certain individuals. The physically challenged children, we have to communicate with them on every level. We have to demand that we get the necessary funds that's owed us. You can't bring in charter schools and then think that we're not supposed to pay for charter schools and public school. That's it. First of all, the government has a responsibility to meet the needs of all the people. We're in this situation now because there's no communication. We have to be willing to work together, to strive together, and work hard together, because that's what we make, not what we want. That's it.
Thank you very much. The next set of questions will be addressed to the Uniondale candidates. Dr. Bediako, are you present? Dr. Bediako?
I'm present.
What is your vision for education in the Uniondale School District and community?
My vision for Uniondale School District and Uniondale community is excellence. Educational is excellence. It's educational excellence in the fact that we will have top-notch programs for all our students. Right now, we have our science programs, our musical programs, and our sports programs, which are excellent. But there are some technical programs that we do not have in the school district. And recently, a charter school is being opened because they want to provide technical subjects. We need to bring those back to the district. Those who do not have the program in the district, we need to send them to BOCES where there are programs. If Nassau BOCES does not have the programs, we should cross-contract with other BOCES for the programs for our students.
Thank you. Ms. Longsworth.
Hi, I'm waiting for my video to start.
Sure. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Certainly.
What is your vision for education in the Uniondale School District and community?
So my vision for the Uniondale School District education is to have us evolve. Given that we've experienced such hardship and such we're chartering into new territories as it relates to virtual learning. I don't want the school district to be stuck in the dinosaur ages in terms of traditional education. I think that we need to move forward with forging relationships with our community members in order to determine the new solutions or the new way of life or the new way of educating our children. So essentially my vision for the Uniondale School Board is to evolve into our next phase.
That is time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Moses.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Do you need me to
All right.
repeat the question?
No, I got it. So what I would like is for, life skills, for our scholars to be leaders, for them to have an unforgettable experience in Uniondale like I did, and I want teachers that relate to them. That's one of my biggest things. Teachers that relate to them, teachers that look like them. That is very important in learning. And programs that are one of the kind, that we can bring here to Uniondale. I'm a fireman in Uniondale, been a fireman for 13 years. Programs like the EMT program, getting the fire department involved in different classes, and maybe going, if they decide to go to college and go to Nassau, they can take the fire science classes and they can use the fire department to help these things. Using the fire department, using these things are direct links to the community. And I believe if we can get our children involved with these, this will help our district. So, that is what I envision for us.
That is time.
Thank you very much. Our last question will be addressed to the Westbury candidates. Beginning with Ms. Robin Bowling. Are you present?
Yes, I am.
Okay. How do you plan on bringing the board together to focus on the many issues concerning the students and community in the district?
Well, the current board that we have, we've developed a great relationship and we've got many things planned going forward to make this happen. And if we are all reelected again, I think we will be fine as far as getting our community involved. Once again, those relationships are the best part of that. And all of us on the board come from different parts of the community. So with all of our talents and getting our constituents out, I think moving forward, with the group that we have, we can make it happen. We're already expanding with our new buildings that are being built. Our high school is finished. So once we get our students back into our buildings, and once the community sees that, we've made a plan, it's come to light, and we did it together.
And that is time.
Thank you. Ms. Cadet.
Yes, I'm here. My video's not on. Okay, I'm on. Well, I have to say that, can you hear me?
Yes.
I have to say that life is about changes. Every year we have new board members that are being elected. I think too, in order to provide consistency within the board, by providing great services and by leading great services for our children and our community, is to provide procedures and guidelines, and for the board to come together and engaging the community so we can have one voice. Once we have one voice for our community, then we are united. It doesn't matter if you have different people come and go on the board, but at least if we know what we want for our community, the school, and our children, the work will continue to flow. And that's all. It would be good for Westbury community and all community to come together as one, just so we can move forward and do great things in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Keynes?
Yes. Okay.
Can you repeat the question?
No, I don't. So I think the major piece here is the human touch. It's being able to have conversations. It's being able to understand what our community really needs. And I think that our community has various needs, but oftentimes they don't have the avenues to express those needs. So as a board member, I think we need to be more visible, and we need to hold more town hall meetings. I think that this COVID-19 situation has taught our community to pay more attention to social media and more attention to using technology. And I think going forward, we'll be able to use technology to bridge the gap of communication in our district.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell?
Yes, I think it's important, as I said, with my 14 years experience as a board member, I've worked with many boards that were cohesive. And I also know that it's very easy to sometimes work in a vacuum because you get caught up in the work that you have to do. So I think it's important when you reach out to the community or you launch or do any initiative that you are making sure that all of the stakeholders are there. I have served with all of the candidates running here, and I know that they are very aware of how to include and who should be at the table. And when you look around and you see someone's not at the table, as a community, as educators, we have to be concerned about where they are and make sure that we do not lose seniors and we do not lose people from any one.
Thank you. We're going to ask each candidate now for a 15-second closing, beginning with the Westbury candidates. Ms. Karen Campbell.
Am I still on?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you again for this opportunity to be heard. And I'd also like to just say that I would like to very much to be elected to the school board so that I can revisit some of the issues that we were faced with prior to this pandemic. That would include the overcrowding, the underfunding, and the leadership in our community. I also think that it would be important that we work together to make sure that as we move forward to address the challenges that this pandemic brings, that we are not excluding special education. There have been calls for us to bring back those services to our district.
Thank you. Mr. Keynes.
Yes. I'm looking forward to being reelected to the school board to continue the work that has been started and that continues to grow. I believe in Westbury, and I know that the students deserve all that we have, and our taxpayers deserve us to make sure that we hold the line as best as we can and bring energy efficient solutions that's going to help our community grow into the next century. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cadet.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to thank the organization for the possibility of having a forum in this time. I'm looking forward to get elected on the board just so we can continue the work that was started 3 years ago. And we created a momentum by expanding our schools, by engaging the community. Parents are getting involved, and we need to continue on that path just so we can become one voice.
Thank you. Ms. Robin Bowling.
Yes, I am here. I would just like to ask everyone in my community to please remember to fill it out, mail it back. The ballot is coming to you soon. Please look at it, read it, fill it out, mail it back, get it in on time. Don't be behind. The election is June 9th. I would just like to ask you to please come out and vote for me, and I will continue to work for the community of Westbury because I believe in Westbury. And once again, Westbury love is real love. I believe that with my whole entire heart. And during this pandemic, we have definitely stepped up and showed it. And technology.
Thank you. Roosevelt candidates. Ms. Emily Moore, would you begin with a closing?
I'm looking forward to running as a candidate to continually to work hard. As elected, that'll be a good thing, a great thing. But if not, I will still continue to do the great work that I've been wanting to do in Roosevelt and in this country. Life is what we make it. The administration, the teachers, the school board, of the children, they all have to be trained and educated to understand that the greatness is within them. It's up to each and every one of us to work together, share together, show love and respect each other so that we don't have a problem like this country is having because we let other people lead. Other people.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, would you please close?
I don't have video. All right. Bottom line, Ms. Moore, I love you and I respect you. And win or lose, if I'm not there and you are, just make sure you continue to make Roosevelt great. When I got here, we were considered one of the worst districts. Now we have to revamp our policies to stop people from coming here who don't belong here. To me, that's growth. So either go out and elect, or when you send in your card, you're gonna vote for myself, or if you vote for Ms. Moore, either way, you're gonna get a soldier who loves Roosevelt. So either way, I have nothing but love for 11575.
Thank you. Mr. Hawkins.
Yes, hi. So I'm asking for again your vote because I feel I'm committed to the excellence of Roosevelt. I want to see it grow. I'm not happy with what's going on. I just want to be able to be part of the change that will make sure that our children get the best they need. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Monroe.
Start my video. Okay. Hi, thank you. To all my Roosevelt Rough Riders, all my Roosevelt residents, I want you to vote 1B for me, Belinda Monroe. I'm the voice of the community. I'm your voice. I have no hidden agenda. I wish to serve as I always have. I would like to continue the great work that the board, this current board is on. We have a lot of exciting things that we have to bring to this community, even through the crisis. It's a lot of ways that our students can still achieve, and we're gonna make this happen. Vote 1B.
That is time.
Thank you. Lastly, our Uniondale candidates, beginning with Dr. Mary Bediako. Will you please close?
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I want to thank you all for this forum. I want to let the Uniondale community know that if I'm elected, they'll have an experienced educational leader who will work for fiscal integrity, educational leadership, a trusted and transparent board member, and an effective board member from day one. In these unprecedented times, we need somebody who will hit the ground running from day one. Please vote row 1A, Mary Bediako. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Natalie Longsworth, will you please close?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated for this platform to articulate myself as the ideal candidate for a union board, for Uniondale School Board Trustee. I'm going to leave everyone with this. My platform is three-pronged: ACT, access, collaboration, and transparency. I vow to provide increased access to our most vulnerable students. I am committed to collaborating with all of our community stakeholders, and I promise to be transparent with all of our resources and funding throughout the district so that the community at large can see what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Christopher Moses, will you please close?
I'm here. I was just waiting for the video. All right. So first, I just want to say thank you for what you guys are doing here. This is, this is amazing to see all the other candidates. I love this right now. But just overall, Uniondale, is a great place to grow up. I grew up here. There's so many great leaders that came out of Uniondale. Look at Sharice. Just want to say, you strong. There we go. There's so many great leaders that came out of Uniondale, and I want to ensure that I'm a part of making our scholars these great leaders. I want to be involved in that. Just being in Uniondale and being part of your community is what is more important. And I have the biggest investments in this, and this is my 3 children. So no matter what, you're always going to get the best with me because I'm going to give the best to my children, no matter what. So no matter what, you're going to get that from me for your children, because my children are here. I have a 17-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, and I have a 9-year-old. So I'm going to be here for a while. Even if I don't make it, I'm still going to be here. Okay? So thank you. And thank you again for this. This was amazing.
Thank you to all the candidates. We did tell the Hempstead candidates that they could come back in because there were some questions left over for some of them specifically. If there are questions either on the live feed or in the chat, specifically for any of the Roosevelt, Uniondale, or Westbury candidates, now is the time to get that over to us to the extent we can for the next 10 to 15 minutes. We'll try to get through them, but we're not going to keep everyone too long. I see that Ms. Patricia McNeil, Mr. Jeffrey Spencer, and Ms. Thurn Shivers from Hempstead have joined us again. Thank you very much. I'm going to just go right into it since you've already introduced yourself. There was a question specifically from Ms. Patricia McNeil. What is your plan for elementary schools in Hempstead? Ms. McNeil, you're muted still. I'm sorry.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hear you. Did you hear that question?
No, can you please tell me again, please?
This was specifically for you. What is your plan for elementary schools in Hempstead?
My plans for elementary schools K through 5 would be a unified learning. We are a transient community here at Hempstead, and there are times when parents and families are moving from one side of Hempstead to another. And when they transfer from one school to another, the school they're moving from, their child, their student may be an A or B student. But when they move to a different school in Hempstead, they start failing because the curriculum is different. We need a unified curriculum from K through 5.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Spencer,
Yes,
how do you
ma'am.
plan on bringing the board together to focus on the many issues concerning the students and the community in the district?
As a board member, first of all, you gotta have open lines of communication. It's not always just about when you're sitting up on the stand up there and you gotta make command decisions. It's what happens in the dark on behind the scenes. You gotta have that friendly communication amongst each other, that you can talk to each other and work well with each other. That's how you grow and learn from each other.
Thank you. Ms. Shivers, what is your vision for education in the Hempstead School District?
Our vision for education for the school district, first off, is that all our children succeed, because they haven't been succeeding. They've been being pushed through the system, and you could tell that through our graduation rate. I don't know what the new graduation rate is, but I don't really believe it's 67%. You know, so my vision is to make sure that all the students succeed, getting what they need.
Okay.
As far as resources are concerned.
Thank you. So this question is for all of the Hempstead candidates. Ms. Shivers, I'm going to begin with you. How do you feel about your district needing a state monitor? Are you for or against it?
Well, because our district has been in such turmoil for the last 10 years or so, I'm for a monitor, because with a monitor, we have to be fiscally responsible. Without a monitor, it's just going to be a free-for-all. So I'm for the monitor. I've been lobbying for the monitor.
Thank you. Ms. McNeil, the same question. How do you feel about your district needing a state monitor? Are you for or against?
I'm neither. We've had a state monitor for the last 3 years, and we paid that state monitor quite a bit of money, and I really don't see that much change, how much positive input that he had in with it. The school district has started making improvements prior to us having the monitor, and I believe we can still continue to make improvements, especially with the proper funding and the proper board members, with myself as a trustee. But for us to get someone else to start over again, I'm not really feeling that. But if the governor says we have to have it, the commission says we have to have it, then we could work with those. We could work with the monitor also.
Candidate, your time is up.
Thank you. Mr. Spencer, how do
Yes,
you
ma'am.
feel about your district needing a state monitor? Are you for or against?
An extra set of eyes is never a bad thing for me, as long as they come into our district on our terms and are respectful and have some positive insight to give us. I don't feel we have anything to hide.
Thank you. And we have another question specifically for Hempstead candidates. I'm going to begin with Ms. McNeil. How do you plan to address the challenges of space at Hempstead Public Schools?
In my opinion, we're going to have to go on a split schedule. Some students may start early in the morning and end around 12 noon, 1 o'clock. Others may have to start at 12 and go until 5. We also could split the week up, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But the true answer that we need to look down the road is we need better buildings, we need more space, we need state funding to make this happen for capital improvements. We cannot do it on our backs, out of our pockets. We need the state to get involved and give us our fair share and give us what we really need to truly make this happen.
Thank you. Ms. Spencer, what are your plans to address the challenges of space at Hempstead Public Schools?
Well, that's a tricky question for me being a fireman, and we deal with overcrowding all the time. We need to address the state on that. Why you keep forcing extra students into our district if we can't house the ones that we have? So we have to start learning how to outsource what we have to make it a safe environment for our students.
Thank you. And Ms. Shivers?
I agree with Ms. McNeil with the split schedules and the Saturday classes as well. And I also believe that the students who are on online learning and that works well for them, and I think they should continue with that if they choose. The students who are struggling in school, I think they need to be physically in the building. And like you said, we need to split these classes up. Half of the students this day, half of the students the following day.
Thank you. We have another question based upon some of the answers that were provided from Hempstead candidates. The question is, many candidates have discussed getting state funding. The state budget has been cut. If you cannot get said funding, what are your plans? And we will begin with Mr. Spencer.
Well, again, I would like to find out if we are eligible for grants. There are many grants out there, especially in the state of emergency that we're in. Being a FEMA employee and I went through all the FEMA courses, I know there's millions and billions of dollars out there for education and safety. So we need to go after some of these grants because we need to educate our children.
Okay. Ms. McNeil?
I feel that we need to contact corporations and major companies to work with us to help fill in the gap, and also foundations. There are foundations that work with students on all levels. We need to contact them. This coronavirus has pushed us up a few years sooner than what we had planned to be, where we had planned to be. So we need to make sure every student has a device, not one device per family, one device per child, because we can't go back. We can't go back to the books. We have to keep moving forward, and devices is the most economical way. Books cost us at least $400 per student per year.
Candidate, your time is up.
Device does not.
Thank you. And Ms. Shivers, this is the final question.
Excuse me 1 minute. I'm back. My door, somebody got my door, my son.
Ms. Shivers, do you need me to repeat?
The question again, ma'am? The question again?
Yes. Many of the candidates mentioned seeking state funding earlier. As you know, the state budget has been cut. If you can't get said funding, what are your plans?
Well, if we can't get state funding, which I'm quite sure we won't, and that's when we start getting the community involved. different organizations and grassroots organizations to help us get what we need for our students. You know, we wouldn't have to keep grabbing these grants if we would have spent our money correctly in the first place. You know, and it wouldn't even be hard to get a grant if we were doing the right thing with our money in the first place. And they say, yeah, they're doing the right thing, so let's give them a couple of extra dollars because they're showing improvement.
Candidate, your time is up.
Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to all of the candidates. The questions that were left over have been answered. The others are duplicative. At this time, we are going to close the program. This, as you know, that this is a recorded session. It will be made public and made available on the Nassau Alumni Chapter's Facebook page for viewing in the.
We say thank you. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for providing this for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Kira Bryant, do you have any final comments? And also our president, Ms. Jackie Morrison Brailsford, is also on. I'd like to give her the opportunity to also address the candidates.
So, President, I defer.
I was trying to unmute my mic. I just want to thank the candidates again for affording the community the opportunity to hear what you plan to have in store and how you will impact our communities if elected to your various respective positions. Thank you so much for, again, for joining us, and thank you to our viewers for supporting us. And as Ms. Vanderhall stated, this video recording will be placed on Nassau Alumni Chapter's Facebook site for future viewing and for those community members that may need to recap and review the conversation that we had today. Thank you again to our Social Actions Committee for presenting such a stellar program to our community. Thank you.
And just to reiterate, thank you again to all candidates for your willingness to run. Thank you for your service to your particular neighborhood within our Nassau County Black community. We are all of the same community. If the majority of the students in your district are minority, we're all in this together. Whether our representatives are of any race, creed, or color, we thank you for your service on behalf. There was a lot of talk today about funding, the importance of funding. And when that comes up in regards to school districts, it's very, very important to remember the census is the #1 thing that that dictates the amount of funding that you receive. In 2010, New York, 60% of New York State residents responded to the census, which means the budgets that were allocated to your districts each year were only 60% of what should have been allocated if the full number of residents responded. Now they know you're here. They know you're here. That's how they know there was 60% and not 100%. But not responding is what provides the excuse to ignore. We shouldn't need the grants. The grants are wonderful. They should be above and beyond, not to just help us reach to a more level playing field as the Jerichos or Garden Cities of our county. So stay in the fight. We're taught in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority that all politics are local, and school board elections are at the most, I think they can't get much more local than that. You know, you got your village trustees and you have your school boards. Those are the governing bodies that have one of the biggest impacts on everybody's day-to-day life. That's why it's very important that you are an informed voter and an active participant in all political processes. So make sure you have your absentee, your ballot, get it in, make sure you're responding to the census, access your social media networks across the state, county, state, and country, and get everybody to fill out the census. So with that, I will say, I also want to say, if there's anybody else who has any questions, please, you can email it to the socialaction@dst.org email, and we will do our best to try to forward that to candidates. If you did not get a chance to have your question answered tonight, we also have access to the questions in the chat. I believe everything was covered, but in the event that it wasn't, we will try to get those questions to the candidates and provide them with a platform to answer that for the public.
Ms. Bryant, I would just like to say one more thing. I would be remiss if we did not thank Ms. Sharice Vanderhall for the outstanding job she did this evening with tonight's forum in moderating the questions for our candidates. So I would just like to give her a round of applause and thank her for the outstanding job that she did on behalf of Nassau Alumni Chapter. Thank you so much, Mrs. Vanderhall.
Thank you.
With that, I say thank you, and be on the lookout for future Woke Wednesday productions by Nassau Alumni Chapter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Lenore. Thank you. Thank you, Lenore. Live stream.